Hi, thanks for joining me today to make this easy focaccia. So I'm adding into the bowl a cup of warm water, fairly warm water, and 2 tablespoons of sugar. Now, this is a packet of dry active yeast. So you just want to sprinkle that in at 7 grams, and then you want to stir it all in. The yeast has a tendency to float on the top, so you just give it a quick stir. It helps to mix it in with the sugar and hot water, and that's going to start to activate the yeast. Now I'm just going to add in some of the flour. So this is strong white flour. Now we're doing the quick no knead method today, so we're not adding all the flour, we're just going to add 2 cups and we'll add another cup later. So 2 cups of strong white bread flour. I'm going to add in a 1/4 cup of olive oil. That gives it a nice richness to the dough and a nice flavour. And 1½ teaspoons of salt. It's best to add the salt at the end and not into the mix with the yeast, as it can inhibit the growth of the yeast. So because we're doing the no knead, what you do is you just beat this in for about 2 to 3 minutes. And at this stage, when you mix it, when it's quite a wet mix, it helps to stretch the gluten and you don't have to knead it for a long time at the end. So you've got quite a wet dough, and then you just add in the 1/3 cup of flour. And you just mix all that in just to form your dough. Now this dough can be used for pizza or focaccia. It's a very versatile dough. So you just bring it together with your hand. Now if you were to knead it in the traditional way, you would knead for about 10 minutes and it can be quite hard work. So I'm just going to knead this just for a few seconds, about a minute, just stretching it out with the heel of my hand in the traditional way that you knead bread. But that's all I'm going to do because it doesn't need any more kneading just now. So I'm just going to put it into a bowl which has been lightly oiled with vegetable oil, and I'm just covering it over with cling film. I'm going to leave that to rise. So leave that to rise in a warm room for about 40 minutes to 1 hour, and here you can see it's doubled in size and it's a lovely soft dough. So you can see it's quite springy. You just add another little bit of flour. And then I'm going to knock back the dough. So this is the first stage of making any bread with yeast. So you just knock out all the air. And that's your dough ready. So this is day 2. I used the first half of my dough to make pizza, and this is the second half, which has been in the fridge overnight. It keeps well in the fridge. And I'm just adding some more flour. I've just let it come to room temperature for about 10 to 20 minutes, and that makes it just slightly easier to work. So this is the focaccia I'm going to make now. So you just want to start by shaping your dough. It's much easier to roll into a uniform round shape if you shape it first. So just shaping it up. And then once you've got it shaped, you can start to roll. So I'm just going to make a round focaccia today. You can make a long rectangle tray, is also quite often made in Italy, but I'm just making a round one today, just quite a small one. As I say, this is just half of the dough that I made at the start, so it's quite good and it's quite economical. You can either make pizza or focaccia. Focaccia is quite nice. It's really nice if you want to make it and then take it out for a picnic or like taken to someone's home for a meal. So I'm just starting to give that more of a shape. So I'm just going to make it a little larger than the tin because the dough does tend to shrink back, especially when it's quite cold out of the fridge. So trying to keep the shape as much as possible. And then here I've got an oiled tin, and you just put it inside your tin. And then you just want to cover it with cling film and you want to let this rise again. So you want to let it rise about 40 minutes to an hour. It's quite handy just to do, and then you can go on, do a washing, clean up your kitchen. It's quite good just to have that time to do other things. So as you can see, this is about 40 minutes later and it's risen. And this is the fun part, is putting on the topping. So focaccia traditionally has either rosemary or sea salt and sometimes olives. Today I'm going to make a chili and garlic version. So I've got a lovely olive oil, I've got some sea salt, and I've just mixed up some olive oil, chopped garlic and fresh chili, and I've just left that overnight and just all the flavours go into it. So this is the good bit. You just press your fingers right to the bottom. Now the dough is quite springy, so you want to try and really push down because all these holes will bake back together when you start to bake your bread. But the traditional focaccia has these holes, and the holes catch all the lovely ingredients that you're going to put on. So as you can see, this is an extra virgin olive oil, so it's quite a rich colour. And get these lovely chilies and garlic, and the smell is incredible. So you just want to try and put some of the ingredients into the holes. So I'm just spending a wee bit of time just spreading out the ingredients. You don't want your holes too full of garlic, but you want to have the ingredients pressed down into these holes and just divided out onto the top. And then this is a lovely sea salt, like a rock salt. It's not too crunchy, this is a very nice one. And you just want to sprinkle these large grains over your focaccia. So this is it ready for the oven. As you can see, it's nice and risen, and I've got the oil on it. And then you want to bake it in the oven. And as you can see, after about 20 to 30 minutes, lovely thick bread. So I really hope that you've enjoyed watching the video about the focaccia and that you can join us again. Thank you.